What's going on, everybody? My name is Michael Weer, and it is a double feature comedy night because I'm going to see two comedies that just released, No Hard Feelings and The Blackening. And what I'm planning to do is sort of give you a look at my entire trip and talk about the movies as well, instead of doing just two straightforward movie reviews. Mix it up a little bit on the channel. With all that being said, let's do it. Alright guys, I just pulled out of my garage. I'm about to leave and all of these geese are here, which is kind of cool. And then what they do is they wait for me to leave and then they just shit all over my driveway. So, alright, we're off to the theater. Alright guys, I made it to the theater, and the first showing for my double feature for tonight is going to be No Hard Feelings. This is a comedy starring Jennifer Lawrence, and she basically plays a hooker for hire. She gets hired by Matthew Broderick to sleep with Matthew Broderick's son, who's an adult, but like a failure to launch adult, and so he hires her to sleep with him so that he could, like, I don't know, become a man and move on. If the roles were reversed, everyone would have canceled. They wouldn't have even made this movie, but they would definitely be canceling now. But because it's a woman in the lead role and she's the one choosing to sleep with the guy who's unaware, it's totally okay. And it's a comedy, so the plot is supposed to work. With all of that said, I'm about to go in and start my double feature. I will let you guys know what I think of No Hard Feelings when I get out of here. Alright guys, so the video quality is not going to be great in here, and the screen is still playing, but No Hard Feelings is one of those movies that I 100,000% would have passed if I wasn't trying to see as many movies as possible this year. That was hard to get through. It was No Hard Feelings was a hard movie to get through. It's got its laughs. You see Jennifer Lawrence completely nude. I mean, completely nude. But it's just, you know, another safe comedy. Another comedy that just pulls every punch because you don't want to offend anybody in a comedy. Well, this has been my experience in No Hard Feelings. Good acting. Matthew Broderick, it's nice to see him back in a bigger role. Hope he does more soon. Jennifer Lawrence just, you know, is great. And yeah, it was a movie. I do not recommend it to anyone, except maybe my enemies. With that said, it's time to move on to my next showing, which is The Blackening. Hopefully it's better. Alright guys, I decided to walk outside of the theater because there's a little bit of time before my next showing and talk about The Blackening before I go in there. So my initial thoughts going into this movie, comedies nowadays pull every punch, like the movie I just saw with No Hard Feelings being my biggest gripe for that movie. Is it just pulls punches. Should have been more to it, in my opinion, but we've already talked about that. Let's move on. So The Blackening, I want a fun experience with this movie. I want to enjoy it. I want to laugh a lot. And if it's more on the horror side, since it's a horror comedy, I'd like it to be a little scary. So a little bit scary, whole lot of laughs. The Blackening, that's what I'm hoping. We'll see. Alright guys, so I just got out of The Blackening. Well, I got out like, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, but the theater parking lot was completely dark and I couldn't stay in the theater to shoot this, so I went over to the Meijer parking lot, which while they are closed, it is still lit up, so we can do this video. Let's talk about The Blackening. The Blackening is a movie about a group of friends who have like a 10-year reunion and they go to a cabin in the woods and there is a murderer that is stalking them. That's the setup for the movie and I don't want to spoil any more of it. It's got some laughs along the way. Most of those laughs unfortunately were in the trailer, which is kind of something that happened with both of my movies on my double feature night here tonight, is that the majority of the good laughs were in the trailers. So when those laughs came in the theater, I was like, all right, they're still kind of funny. There were some moments, though, that were pretty funny. This movie reminded me a lot of Bodies, 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 which was a movie that came out last year, and not because of the way the movie played out, but because of how the movie was written. What I mean by that is someone younger or tapping into the way younger people speak now wrote that script, and I believe it's like the same way with this script because they say things like, "You're projecting on me," and like they all understand what they're saying, and I'm sitting there like, am I too old for this? Is 32 the cutoff? Because what are you talking about? And there's more lingo like that just the younger generation now uses. I'm talking about like teenagers or people in their early 20s, and so I feel like somebody of that age wrote this movie. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe they just tapped into that, but again, that didn't work for me in Bodies, 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 and it didn't work for me here in The Blackening either. As far as the horror elements go, there's some cool horror elements in this movie. I know my wife will enjoy this movie because she's a big fan of the bow and arrow. Actually, it's not a bow and arrow, it's a crossbow. But she loves arrows being used in horror movies. She does. So if she knows there's an arrow, she'll watch it. So I'm sure I'll watch this again in the future. Maybe I'll like it a little more then, or maybe I'll like it a little less. As it stands for the double feature tonight of No Hard Feelings and The Blackening, I will say The Blackening is the better of the two movies. So if you're going to pick one of those, I would go with that one. But are either of them good at all? That's the question, and I would say not really. I wouldn't waste your time going to see these in a theater. I'm not telling you not to. If you want to go spend your money on that, you can. But I would wait for both of them on streaming, both No Hard Feelings and The Blackening. Thought somebody was behind me for a minute. I was going to get crazy for a second. But no one's here. It's just me. Just me talking to myself in a parking lot. But with that said, I will say that both of these movies, you'd be better off streaming them for what it's worth. But I will say that I had an enjoyable time at the theater tonight doing a double feature, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know if you've seen these movies and if you have your thoughts on those movies. And then if you like me doing this sort of double feature thing where I just give you all my thoughts right up front and you get two kind of movie reviews in one video, let me know if this is something you're interested in. Maybe I'll do it again in the future. We do have the greatest double feature of all time coming up in a few weeks with Barbie and Oppenheimer. Maybe I'll do that for that as well if you guys like this. But with that said, guys, maybe this is the first time you're finding my channel, and if it is, you should hit that subscribe button so you can see all of my content. I appreciate all of you guys checking out my channel, and I'll see y'all next time.